We're
All
live.
right. Hey, what's going on? How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Today I'm sitting in a hotel
Live and face to face.
in Buffalo, New York. It's called the Reichert Hotel. It's in the Marriott portfolio, and really nice little hotel. We got an awesome AAA rate. So even though I had thought about using points, I ended up deciding just to pay for it because they wanted 25K points a night versus AAA rate was something like 135 a night. So I couldn't quite
Yeah,
justify spending the points
couldn't
on it.
justify the points there. Yeah.
Oop, looks like Nick dropped out. I'm gonna see if he can join us again. Uh, let's see. Oh, we might have to end this and go back. Let's see what's going on with Nick.
Now you're back.
Oh, you
Okay.
you disappeared. Well,
I
one of us
disappeared.
disappeared.
One
I
of us
thought it was
disappeared.
you, but
Okay.
maybe it was me. I don't know.
Might have been me, but I was going to ask you what category the Buffalo property was because I'm from New York State, but I rarely get that far west. So I was just curious. I never really have taken a
Well,
look.
it's
Of course,
25K a night, so it would
so
be
category four.
category four, right?
Yeah, yeah. So of course I heard that Greg was coming to New York, so I got out of New York today, and I'm in Connecticut at just a Hyatt house. So
Oh, okay.
5,000 points a night, though, you can't beat that. I mean,
No,
5,000
you
points versus
definitely
a
cannot beat that.
cash rate of like 130 or something. So I was happy to get some value out of a category one stay.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. So, all right. So today you posted about the Citi Prestige. Well, you posted about the thank you portal. And so it got me thinking about whether or not it's worth using thank you points to book rooms at all. Because, of course, you have to book them through the thank you portal. And as you showed today, values aren't always great through the thank you portal. So, what's your opinion? Is it ever worth booking hotels through the thank you portal or no?
It's really tough it's tough to do now because as I showed today, they're always higher than other portals, including the Chase portal. So if you have Chase points and you want to book a hotel, the price and points you pay is based on what they say the cash rate is, and Citi is saying the cash rate is about 10% more than Chase is, and so whatever you think the value is of your thank you points, you're getting less practical value because they're starting from a higher paid price.
Now, that's true generally speaking, but all right, let me ask you this. So is it worth using Chase points to book through the Chase portal? Because you have the Sapphire Reserve, you get 1.5 cents a point. Is it worth booking a hotel through the Chase portal for 1.5 cents a point? I mean, you do it sometimes, right?
Yeah, I would do it if especially when I'm booking a hotel that's not a chain where I care about earning points, or if I have elite status or want to get elite status. Both of those things tend to be off the table when you book through any online travel agency, including Chase. So if I'm booking like a boutique hotel or something that's an independent, or then yes, I'm happy to get the 1.5 and go from there.
And so, of course, my side of the argument then is that if we can agree, and I'll agree with you, I think sometimes it is worth taking the 1.5 cents in value and book through the Chase portal, because I'm usually booking someplace where I'd like to have free breakfast or I'd like to be earning elite credit. But on the rare occasion when that's not the case, sometimes it isn't, then I will book through the Chase portal now and then for 1.5 cents a point. And if you meaning the audience out there, if you agree with that being a decent redemption, a good enough redemption to take, then I think that you shouldn't totally dismiss the Citi thank you portal. Now, I think it only works for people in a specific set of circumstances. If you got the Prestige card and you have the Premier card, then you're able to get this theoretical 1.67 cents per point. Though, as Greg showed in the post today, you're not really going to get that much because Citi is charging an inflated rate for most of their hotels. So realistically, he showed you get a little bit less than 1.5 cents a point. But a reader pointed out in the comments, and it was a great point, that if you've also got the Citi Rewards Plus card, you get an annual rebate, 10% of your points back up to 100K points spent. So I would argue then that on that first 100K worth of points, it's not necessarily a bad deal to book the fourth night free through the thank you portal, because you're going to actually get a little bit more than 1.5 cents a point. We've already established that's not a bad deal. So you can get a little bit more than 1.5 cents a point for the first 100K points. I think it's worth taking a look at the thank you portal, even though I'll be honest, I've never booked one through the thank you portal. I'm not going to do it because I don't have the Premier and the Rewards Plus. But if a reader does, I think it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, little bit of a counter argument there is that, for one thing, once you spend the 100K on your hotels, if you then transfer points to a transfer partner, you won't get that 10% rebate anymore because you already used it up, right?
Right. Right.
So it's not like, if you know let me put it another way. If you know you're going to be spending 100K thank you points anyway for the year, I don't think it's reasonable to then count that 10K rebate as improving your point value, because you're that 10K is the limit, and so that's all you're going to get. The other thing,
that's a good point.
Yeah,
I can get on board with that.
The other thing I want to point out is, but even with that, I think your first point is still right, that you're getting close to 1.5 value with the Prestige plus the Premier, using both of their sort of capabilities.
And you got to have the points pooled to get that.
You have to have them. You have to have the accounts combined in the thank you within your thank you account for that to work. You're getting close to 1.5, even accounting for the higher hotel rates, right? But that also means that you're staying exactly 4 nights. You're booking exactly a 4-night stay. So yes, I agree with you that in this sort of weird outlier situation where you have both cards, they're pooled together, and you're booking exactly a 4-night stay, and it's not a hotel chain where you want to earn points or use elite benefits.
Right. There's definitely a niche thing, but if you hold the Prestige card, likely you do have more than one 4-night stay a year, probably, because that's one of the key benefits of the card, right? So you probably are somebody who has that. And really, I'd say that if you use that just one time a year, $150 airline credit, you're probably in decent shape as far as getting good enough value to justify hanging on to it, I think, for 5X at restaurants. And on flights, but
yeah, I mean, I actually think the 5X at restaurants, if you eat out a lot, is enough to justify it without having to worry about the fourth night free benefit. But yeah, I mean, I think, given what we just talked about, how rare it is for all those things to line up, for you to want to use the fourth night free. I mean, if it comes up a lot where you can use it, great, but for me personally, if I were to try to use after September, when they've devalued the fourth night free benefit, if you're trying to use the fourth night free benefit as the justification for keeping the Prestige card, I don't know. I would think long and hard about, are you fooling yourself when you do that? Are you really going to have that exact situation often enough that you're going to feel like, yay, by doing all these things, I'm getting basically the same value that I would get just having a Sapphire Reserve?
Yeah, it's not necessarily a bad argument. I can't argue hard against you there. But where I will say it might be worth it again is if you like to book premium rooms, because the advantages of booking through the Chase portal or the Citi portal is that you can use your points to book exactly the room type you want. Whereas typically if you're using Marriott points, for instance, you can probably only book the standard room. I don't know if you're in a standard room tonight or you book for the Traverse. So typically if you want to book a really nice suite in most chains, you just got to pay for it in cash. You could use the points in order to get a suite if you're booking through the Citi portal or of course, whether or not that is worth it to you depends on whether or not a suite is worth it. We wrote a lot about suites this week. What do you think,
We
Greg?
did.
I mean, is a suite really important? Does anybody care? I mean, we spent a lot of ink this week on suites. Does anybody really care about staying in a suite? Does it matter? Does it matter to
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. Well, it's a funny thing about suites, right? Is when you haven't booked them in advance and you get that upgrade at the desk, it's almost always when you least need it, right?
Right, right.
You go, like, for me, it most often happens. I'm traveling alone. It's a one night stay. I'm
Oh,
only
yeah.
going to be in the room for, maybe 6 hours or something because I have an early flight the next day. And woohoo, I
Most of
get a
my
big
best
suite,
upgrades have been that way.
right?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of them are nothing more than bragging rights, like, right, where you can say, "Oh, I got the presidential suite" or whatever, and it doesn't really help you at all. Um, in fact, I had one kind of hilarious situation where I had been upgraded to a suite, and um, it sort of backfired on me in the long run because I had gone into the bathroom and there wasn't any toilet paper in the bathroom. So I called down to the desk, said, hey, no toilet paper. Can you send some up? And so I went out for a while. I come back to the room, look in the bathroom. I still don't see any toilet paper in there. So I call the desk again, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. We're going to send more."
And you're like, can you send some points up also?
Well, no. So it turned out that they had put rolls of toilet paper on the bed in the separate bedroom, which I hadn't gone into.
Oh, right.
So they had brought it up, but I didn't know that. And so I called back, was like, tell them don't worry about it. But it was too late because I went back out again. I come back and there's toilet paper all over my suite. They put some in the bathroom and the living room, more in the bedroom.
They're like, I'm going to make sure he doesn't miss it this time.
Well, I think they must have been like pissed off, like, we already brought it.
Right.
I don't know. But no, I mean, is it worth it? I'll tell you, there are some times where it's been incredibly worth it. There are some hotels where a suite really means you're getting 2 complete rooms. So when we've been traveling with friends and family, so a bigger group, there's the Hyatt Grand Cypress in Florida, for example, is one that does this, where I've gone with a bunch of people. And if we know we can upgrade to a suite ahead of time, it means we could actually book half as many rooms as we would otherwise, because you literally get connecting rooms with separate doors to the hallway. Each has a complete, full bath and everything. So you literally can save half as many points or cash, depending on how you booked it. Those are great. When you get a much better view, or like you did, you get your own private pool, or you get 2 pools.
2 pools, private indoor, private outdoor, just in case. You never know.
That seems worth it to me. I don't know about you, but
it was worth every sentence of the 3-sentence email asking if they had a room with a slightly more direct sea view. I couldn't believe that that's what they came up with, and so if anybody didn't see it this week, we got this crazy upgraded Domes of Alunda. We were there 7 nights, and after the first 5 nights, I just sent an email asking if we get something with a more direct sea view. And somebody in our Facebook group mentioned, maybe it's just because I'm a blogger that I got this great upgrade. And I guess I don't know if they knew I was a blogger or not, although they certainly didn't give me that for the first 5 nights. So I don't think that was what led into it. Honestly, they were just nice, and I asked, and sometimes you just ask and you get something really nice. And I mean, that was amazing. That was an amazing room to have with your own private pool and whatnot. But in all of my years traveling, that is the only time I think I've ever had a room with its own private pool. I don't know.
Right.
So that's not something you can really count on.
Yeah. So if you could have paid double points or something for that suite, would you do it? If you knew ahead of time.
As a general question, yeah, I think I would. Hands down, it was amazing. It was 2 levels. Like I said, indoor, outdoor pool. I didn't even realize that next to the indoor pool, there was like a heated lounger chair. It was initially, I didn't realize it was heated. I mean, that place was amazing. However, that property is now 85,000 points per night. I don't think I would spend 170,000 points a night on that suite. I don't think I would. I don't know. It's kind of a tough question, though, because Well, it was 2 bedrooms. The second bedroom had two twin beds. First bedroom had a king bed. Upstairs, though, there was a sleeper sofa or two, probably. And I mean, it was big. So I guess if I was going with other people, maybe.
That's what I was. So suppose. Well, all right. I know you probably don't think, or you actually said in your post you wouldn't pay 85K points for that property because it's cheaper to just pay cash. I mean, as far as it would be bad value for your points, but let's just pretend for a second that the point rate
is a good value.
Is a good rate for it. And let's say we were both planning to go the same week. Would it be better for us if it was an option? It's not, but if it was an option to pay double the points for that one suite, so we can lock it in, versus each get our own and hope for an upgrade?
Hands down. In a place like that too, you know, with a really massive suite like that, you have plenty of room to entertain. You know, I was really lucky. I ran into a couple of frequent miler readers at the Domes of Alunda. I was really surprised. It was cool meeting folks. And so I just, one of them I happened to meet like the day we got that upgrade, and they said, oh, you know, maybe we can get together for a drink later on. And I said, when I got the upgrade, I said, well, we just got this amazing upgrade. You want to come up? And we were able to entertain and, you know, relax and have fun. So that was really, it was really nice for that kind of thing. So I can imagine if we went with a group of people, that'd be totally worth it. You know, I never used to value suites at all, really. I mean, I liked getting them like anybody else does for the bragging rights, I guess, but it didn't matter to me because when I went to travel to I went to go see the place and get out and see things. Traveling with a family, with a baby, it's really helpful to have some extra space. So when he's napping during the middle of the day, we can still relax and not worry about waking him up. And B, when he goes to sleep early at night, again, we got room to relax and hang out. We have a baby. We're taking some more family trips than we ever did before. And for family trips, like you said, I mean, be awesome to be able to book that on double the points. But of course, you wrote about a way to be able to maybe do that this week, huh?
I did. So as I wrote about, with Hyatt now offering premium suites available for twice the points of a standard room, there are some really spectacular opportunities out there. Not always, right? Many of the hotels we looked at, a premium suite was just really a regular suite, right? Like maybe the standard suite is a junior suite, and then premium suite is what we think of as a regular suite with a living room and bedroom. And that's nice, but it's not spectacular like the kind of suite you had. However, we did find a few that did look spectacular. I was especially excited by the one in Casablanca. I mean, that one, so you are getting what looks like an amazing, I think that one was called a Diplomat Suite, maybe, if I'm remembering.
I think so,
or a Master Suite or something. You're getting the 2 bedrooms, so you could, you know,
definitely
shoot. If I was going with another couple, I would definitely, you know, say let's just
party suite together. Right.
I don't know if I was going even myself with my wife, I might do it just for the
fun of it.
For the fun of it, because it's not that expensive of a hotel in points to begin with. So you could double it and get this ginormous living room, 2 bedrooms, and a butler. I mean,
what do you do with a butler? I've stayed at a couple of St. Regis. What do you do with a butler?
Yeah, I don't know. So I've had a couple experiences where I've had suites where butler service is included, but not a dedicated butler. So for example, the St. Regis in New York, butler service is included, and they do things like they will iron your clothes for you, which is really nice. They'll shine your shoes. I had a pair of shoes with me. I'd never gotten a shoe shine in my life, to be honest, until then, but they look awfully good now. So that was nice. I don't know. I don't know what else you would do. So someone
you figure it out if you're there for a few days.
Someone mentioned asking them to sew a button or something. So I guess things like that would be cool. You know, maybe
it'd be pretty wild, and it's a good redemption too, because you can get to Casablanca for 44,000 Etihad points,
Yeah.
membership rewards, and Citi Thank You Points transfer partner. You can fly business class Royal Air Morocco for 44K one way, and then stay in a pretty out of control suite for not a lot of points. I mean, talk about it like a baller vacation on like, a very limited points budget.
Seriously. Yeah. So yeah, I'd be very tempted to do that. So yeah, and then of course, as you know, and I wrote about, I thought I had found the motherlode of all deals, right? Because
So did I. When Greg emailed this, I was like, all right, it's done. I'm not even going to look anymore. He found it. Yeah.
there was that property in Egypt where they listed the Royal Villa as a premium suite. Now, I found out after doing that by contacting the Hyatt concierge that just because something's listed as a premium suite on the website does not mean that it's bookable as a premium suite with points.
Big time bummer.
Darn it, yeah, because that thing not only came with a butler and a private pool, but airport transfers,
limo transfers,
services.
Yeah.
It was just ridiculous. It's a gigantic house that you basically get on your own for 10K points per night, which is absurd. But of course that wasn't right. But still, the next level down was bookable, and it's still pretty extraordinary in itself. I don't know that I'd ever. This is like a resort community in southern Egypt. I don't know. It looks very nice. I don't know that I'd ever go there. But the Casablanca one, I could see myself doing.
Yeah, it might be kind of interesting, So, and I look at those, and I think they're pretty interesting opportunities, because you can again stay in some pretty killer suites for not a lot of points, for an amount of points that we would typically think of as like mid-tier Hyatt type of a price. And I think that something interesting for me that came out of that was thinking about the fact that sometimes even when a hotel isn't available on points, it might be available on points, because just because a standard room isn't available doesn't mean you can't book a suite potentially. Sometimes hotels are sold out of standard rooms, but they still have suites. So it just happened to me tonight because I thought that this hotel I'm staying in was going to be sold out of entry level rooms, their base level rooms. And so for a minute I was bummed. And then I thought, oh, well, if they are, I can just contact the Hyatt concierge on Twitter and maybe I could still book one of the premium suites or the standard suite for not many more points than I was going to pay anyway. So I think it could be cool for that. I don't know. What about the really high-end places? I mean, is it worth paying double for places that are 25,000 points a night? Now you're paying 50,000 Hyatt points a night for a suite. What do you think?
I think then it does come down to, I think there's two things. Like, are you traveling with another couple or lots of kids or something where you would have gotten a second room? And then if the place has two bedrooms, which let me be clear, very few of the ones we found had two bedrooms. So I think in that case, I mean, definitely, because you're not just getting the two bedrooms, you're also getting a big living room, usually a kitchen, and who knows what else. The other situation I could definitely see is when you're going all out for a honeymoon or something like that. You just want everything to be top of the line. And if you have the points to kill, why not?
Well, it's nice that you can do that with the points. I think that's probably what made this most exciting for me and probably for most people who read it this week, because, everybody knows that Hyatt globalists get a certain number of suite upgrades per year. Probably most people are familiar with the fact that Marriott awards suite night upgrades, but those things will get you maybe to a standard suite generally, whereas this can get you to a killer suite, confirmed at booking. It's all done. So I think that's what makes this particularly exciting versus some of the other options. Though I say that, and now I think it's also worth mentioning that we're starting to see some places, especially in the Maldives now, where standard rooms are pretty killer suites. I mean, we've seen that happen with some of the Marriott places when they took over Starwood. I made a booking, and a lot of other people made bookings at places where, for example, the St. Regis Bora Bora, where the standard room is like a 2,700 square foot villa. And this week, the JW Marriott in the Maldives became bookable. You can get yourself a nice overwater villa for like or whatever the 85,000 points per night the standard room is there. I mean, do redemptions like that interest you, or you think it's just kind of silly because it's off the charts and who's going to actually go to the Maldives? Do you get excited about those? Would you ever go stay in an overwater villa?
Yeah, I get excited about the idea, and then when it comes time to actually, think about, am I actually going to do it? It never, for me, it never turns into a real trip. So when you look into these things are not like in Florida. They're not even in like Mexico. They're in like
Far off
places that are far away to get to the place you have to get to in order to then transport
right. Pay a
to
little
these
bit more.
places, right?
Right. Yeah.
I, yeah, I mean, will I do it someday? Maybe, probably, because yeah, the idea of the overwater bungalow sounds awesome, and I do want to experience that. But uh, you know, uh, when there are so many other things on my bucket list to do, and 95% of them are much easier to get to and less expensive too. Um, yeah, it just hasn't been happening. But that's not true for you, right?
Well, yes and no. I mean, no, I guess it's not true for me in this book, to trip to Bora Bora, and I went to the Maldives once already. But I actually like the rooms look really cool at that JW Marriott. That overwater villa with its own private pool does look really cool. I'm getting to the point where I'm getting less excited about those though, because like you said, it does get kind of crazy to spend all the points and the money to get there, and then spend another $500 or $600 a person for the transfers. Um, which again, I feel a little bit hypocritical saying that, but I feel like it's silly. And I think the more I travel, the more places that I see. There are gorgeous beaches all over the world. So I'm not totally convinced. I'm hoping Bora Bora is going to change my mind on this, but I'm not totally convinced that those places are worth going all out on. But again, if you're splurging for a honeymoon or that kind of thing, if you're able to pay for it on points, pay for your flights on points, pay for the 85K per night on points, then maybe the cost of the seaplane transfer is no big deal. I'm curious about some of those places though. Like, what happens if you use a Marriott Suite Night upgrade at the place where you're already in the overwater villa? I wonder what'll be available for a Suite Night upgrade, or if that'll be available at all. Now, I haven't had those Suite Night upgrades before from Marriott, the Suite Night Award, however they call it there.
Yeah,
I know they work differently than the Hyatt ones do. In your
they do.
experience, like, can you get a really awesome suite with one of those?
Yeah, so the way it works is once you have a reservation and if you have Suite Night awards in your account, um, then it'll actually pop up a thing saying, "Do you want to, upgrade your trip or something like that?" I forget exactly what it says, but if you click it'll show you a bunch of room types that are presumably higher than the one you booked. I've never checked to make sure that they're actually all higher, but the room types could be just like ocean view instead of garden view, but they're also suites and luxury suites and everything. And you check all the ones that you're willing to accept as an upgrade, and then you wait because they are not processed until at best 5 days before your trip. At that point, you might get confirmed into one of those that you checked as like, I'm willing to take this upgrade. Um, I've done it twice so far. Once was at the St. Pancras Hotel, which I've been at many times. There, I think the getting a suite upgrade is a huge benefit. That worked there successfully. You get to even if you don't have the status that gets you into their lounge, it having the suite upgrade gets you into the lounge, and that is hugely valuable at this particular property. That's in London, by the way. Then more recently, I did this at the Inn at Bay Harbor in northern Michigan. In this case, I've been to this hotel a number of times before as well. It's a resort on Lake Michigan. Um, I checked the box allowing for just a lakeside view king room. and as well as all the higher level.
Not even a suite.
Not even a suite. And the reason I did that is because that's at this hotel the single most important thing to me. Especially I was only traveling with my wife, so there's just the two of us, is to have a nice lakeside view. Those lakeside view rooms all have balconies with like rocking chairs looking out of the lake. It's very nice. So I wanted to ensure that because I did have a case a year or two ago where we went and we were stuck in a parking lot view because all the others were sold out. So I thought this gave me a better chance. So that cleared, and they gave me what cleared 5 days in advance was the King lakeside view. So that's what I was expecting. I was fine with that. When I showed up, they told me that the King room was oversold. So they were going to give me an upgrade. And they what they gave me was the penthouse suite. And
it's a nice little upgrade from the
nice
little upgrade.
So my wife and I now had 3 bedrooms, gigantic kitchen, like way bigger than our kitchen at home. Gigantic living room and a huge balcony that went the length of maybe 4 regular bedrooms. So that was all extremely nice. Obviously, having 2 extra bedrooms didn't really make any difference to us, but the rest of it actually, I enjoyed it. I very much did.
That's nice. Yeah. So when I'm curious because I haven't used these yet. I'm curious how it works. So when you check the different rooms you're willing to upgrade to, I realize you got the Lakeside King. I mean, was the penthouse suite one of those check boxes, or
I wish I can remember. I don't think so. I feel like I would have maybe remembered that if I saw that there. So I'll pay more attention next time. Ask me, in a week or two.
Yeah. I'm just curious now because I'm at the point where actually I've hit 59, so I have to choose whether I'm going to take the 5 Sweet Night Awards credit, or really those are the only 2 that would matter to me. And I've been curious as to what I might be able to, how I can figure out what I can upgrade to, because now with Hyatt, you've got the ability to message the Hyatt Twitter concierge and say, hey, if I want to book a suite on my points, which suite is it that I would get for the premium suite at this particular property? So you know exactly what you're going to book into. With Marriott, that's been part of now, it's one of those questions. Well, if I take these 5 Sweet Night Awards, like if I have stay A, B, and C that I'm kind of interested in applying Sweet Night Awards to, what will it even get me at those particular properties? I don't know if there's a way. Is there any way with Marriott to know?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you could ask a friend who has the Sweet Night Awards in their account to book a dummy reservation and then check which ones show up. That's kind of ridiculous. Now, one thing that you might not know, I think, or a lot of viewers might not know, is that a lot of Marriott properties will let you book right into a higher level suite from the get-go, even with points or with stay certificates. So if you have free night certificates with your credit card or whatever, let's say you have the 35K certificate and you want to book that at a 35K a night hotel, but you want to get into the suite. A lot of the Marriott properties, definitely not all of them, but a lot of them, when you go in to book that award, there will be options like to say you could either pay more points or more cash in addition to the 35K points or the 35K stay certificate in order to get a specific suite.
I'm going to challenge you on that. I want to see a post this week down to the best places to do that, because I have seen that before, but based on my searches, I absolutely wouldn't say a lot. I'd say like I've seen it 3 times maybe in like hundreds of Marriott searches. So we just are obviously looking at different Marriott hotels, but I'd be really curious then as to which ones are the best use. If you want a Marriott suite, which ones are the best use of a 35K cert in cash? Where can you get like some good suites, some valuable suites for 35K and some cash?
I actually started researching that earlier this week, and it turned out to be a lot more work with Marriott because it's a complete fishing expedition. Until you go to try to book an award at a specific property, you can't see what's available.
just one
and
after another with
and
6,700 properties. That's a
if
big
you happen
hunt.
to pick, well, and worse, if you happen to pick a date when the suites are already booked, they're not even going to show up. So you won't know that it was a possibility if you'd booked a day later or something. So yeah,
it's really just a hunt.
But I found a few things. The value on first blush doesn't seem to be there as good and as often as with Hyatt.
So then, if I value a suite, I mean, what are my top 3 or 4 ways to do it, like in order? What's the best way for me to get a suite? And then what are my other good options if I want to be able to book a suite?
Are you talking about specifically with Marriott or in general?
No, in general. In general, like what are my best options for booking suites? I know we know, right? We've talked about how we value these suites, and surely there are a lot of people who do value suites for some of the reasons that we've said. So, if a listener, reader is out there wondering, well, okay, I got a vacation coming up. I don't care where I stay, but I want to make sure that I get a suite. What are their best options?
Staybridge Suites.
You joke about that, but this whole Marriott thing has got me saying it's some more Marriotts, and some of their lower level, like limited service brands, some of them are actually pretty nice.
Yeah. I mean, so to be honest, I think with points, if you want to stay at a luxury hotel, then you could go fishing with the other brands, but I think Hyatt is the place to start looking. And at the low end, there's plenty of all-suite hotels, right?
I'll agree with you that Hyatt is the place to start looking, but I'll say this is where you want to check out the Thank You portal and the Chase portal as well. Don't forget and count those out, because once you start paying double the Hyatt points, when you get to a certain level, you might be better off just looking at using points at a penny and a half each and booking them directly through Chase or Citi. I mean, you're giving up your elite credit, your points, and your benefits, but if you don't have those elite benefits already, then it might not matter to you very much, and so you might be better off booking the room you want through Chase or Citi.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And so I think you're talking about in those cases where the suites aren't crazy expensive. A lot of these hotels we looked at, by the way, earlier when we talked about the Hyatt premium suites, a lot of the times, like those premium suites are selling for like $3,000 a night, whereas the base rooms were like very little. So in those cases, you wouldn't do that. But in cases where the suite is, let's say, less than double what the base room is, which happens a lot too, then that makes a lot of sense. Plus, when we were researching this, I noticed over and over again, a lot of the suite descriptions said that they came with things like lounge access. So you are basically getting the elite benefits just by booking into that suite, even if you're booking with like Thank You points or Chase points. So that's a pretty good way to do it.
That's a great point.
The other thing,
I think it's worth looking at.
If your main thing is you want a living room, separate bedroom, and all that kind of stuff, don't count out Airbnb and VRBO. I mean, you know what you're going to get. You can book it often at a very good rate, and sometimes some nice properties.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I don't think you know what you're going to get, and that's why I'm not a big Airbnb fan, because I feel like I've had some good experiences with Airbnb. I know there's people out there that love it. I don't love it. I feel like 9 times out of 10. It doesn't quite match exactly what the pictures were. I don't know. I mean, it might just be my bad luck. I've had good experiences with Airbnb, don't get me wrong, but I'd much rather book a hotel where I know there's, like a standard that I can expect.
I know what you're saying, and I do want to debate this, but we've gone much longer than we intended to. So I think we should call it a night and pick up that topic next week or the week after. How about that?
Sounds good.
All right. Great talking to you again.
Good talking to you too. Take care.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.